Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Sit Down. It is the night before the draft, the NFL draft. So, first off, with me today here is Nate Martin wearing that faithful to the Bay 49ers hat, getting prepped for that number 3 pick. Kiran Costa repping the Yankees. Last place Yankees, I might add. I think they're still last place. And I'm Sunay Sanghani, not repping anything as of yet. But we're gonna get down to the sports sit down final mock draft. It's been a while since we've done one, guys, and a lot of things have happened since then. Honestly, it's been a whirlwind, and I'm so glad we waited to the last moment because we had a trade that went down to this afternoon. Actually, Teddy Bridgewater going from the Panthers to the Broncos, both quarterback needy teams shuffling quarterbacks. Also, this happened about a couple weeks ago, but Sam Darnold from the New York Jets to the Carolina Panthers, and that kind of changes things around in the draft as well. And I mean, yeah, let's get to it. This is the order right here on the left side. K for Kieran. Kieran's going first. He's picking Jacksonville. Nate's going second with the Jets, and I'm going third with San Francisco. And then this is the draft board on the far right over here. Okay. So with that being said,
with the first pick in our final mock on draft eve, Kiran Costa for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So this pick has been locked in for almost a year at this point. But before I just say the name, this player, you all know who it's going to be. But his name has been lost a little bit in all the mock drafts. Like every analyst is just assuming Trevor Lawrence is going to go number one. He hasn't really gotten his due here. Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. He's a good head and shoulders above everyone else in this draft, but a very special quarterback talent we see. Trevor Lawrence goes number one to the Jags.
With the number 2 pick, I'm going to be representing the New York Jets. And are we going to do the sound, or is that just for the first pick?
I apologize.
Y'all better get used to that. I will be selecting Zach Wilson. I think that is another presumptuous pick. And, you know, maybe some of you guys won't agree with that just because you like Justin Fields or Trey Lance more. But from what I can tell, New York loves Wilson, and it just makes so much sense. He had the best throw out of the entire pro day, sort of thing. And he just looks so good. I don't know how well he'll do in New York, but I wish him the best because I really loved watching him this past quarantine season in college football. And representing my San Francisco 49ers, Sunay Sanghani with the number 3 pick.
Just can't get enough of that noise. I'm sorry. The chime is just, it's the best thing in the draft sometimes. Okay, number 3, San Francisco. They traded up from 12 to 3. You know the whole spiel we've been over. It's been pretty apparent for the last 2 months. Nate, I think the pick is in good hands. I think they're going Trey Lance. I've said it from day one. As soon as they drafted, as soon as they made the trade, I said quarterback Trey Lance, North Dakota State. You put him behind Jimmy G. You let him learn the system. He adds that third element, and he's the most Patrick Mahomes-like. The Niners are the one team that have been bitten by Patrick Mahomes 2 times. I mean, more than any other team. They had a chance to draft him in 2017. They knew that he was going to be a special talent. They didn't, and they also lost the Super Bowl with him. Like, they have been bitten by this Trey Lance stuff. Patrick Mahomes stuff. Trey Lance, Patrick Mahomes, closest thing. Let's make it happen. But what do you think, Nate? Do you think
honestly, I don't think it's gonna be Fields, just because there hasn't been any noise surrounding Fields from that camp, and I just don't think a lot. I don't think some of the stuff coming out of San Francisco are smoke screens. The one reason why I don't think it's gonna be Trey Lance, one of a couple, but mainly one of the main ones is that they want to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. They've been shopping him around a lot the past couple of days, looking for potential suitors. They want this rookie quarterback to come in and start right away. And I think we can all agree that Trey Lance is not good enough to do so. I think it's going to be Mac Jones. Unfortunately, I think Shanahan, and it's mostly Shanahan. I know that John Lynch is a big fan of Trey Lance. I know that the entire scouting department is a big fan of Trey Lance. And I just think Shanahan's selfish. He wants to prove everyone wrong. He says, this is my offense. I want my quarterback to run the offense the way I want it to be. And I think it's going to backfire. The Niners, as you mentioned, did have a chance to take Patrick Mahomes in 2017, and they're going to miss another generational talent or two generational talents. I mean, if Trey Lance is Patrick Mahomes, I guess we could say Justin Fields is Deshaun Watson. They missed a chance to draft both of those guys in 2017, and they're going to do it again 4 years later and take Mac Jones.
I will say though, the whole time with this like Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Fields thing, I will admit I'm only going to believe it until I see it. I still cannot believe that this is the place that we've gotten into. And I guess before we move on to the rest of the picks, I would like to discuss a rumor that's been thrown out there today that Jimmy G may be on the move to the New England Patriots if they could work out the contract situation. I don't know if that's a true rumor, but it is a rumor, and by a reputable reporter, I believe, Dale Arnold, if I'm not mistaken. He is from the Boston area, and if that is the case, that kind of changes things a little bit, in my opinion.
So with the fourth pick after that lengthy discussion about the San Francisco 49ers, let's move over to the fourth pick where Kiran Costa will be picking for the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons are sitting here. I don't think they're going to pick a quarterback, especially after we see them restructure Matt Ryan's contract. And I think they're going to take the second best player in this draft class, and that's Kyle Pitts. Sunay was already writing it in before I even said it. Tight end out of Florida. I mean, he's such a special talent. He's listed as a tight end, but he can line up as a wide receiver as well. Versatile tight end / wide receiver. I think Pitts is the easy choice here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sunay, don't write down tight end. Just write down yes, because he can play it all. I think he is an incredible talent for the Falcons to grab. It's going to be interesting to see how he lines up with Julio and Calvin Ridley, because you're going to have, I'm assuming they're going to play him at wide receiver, because I still think they really like Hayden Hurst. That's three big body receivers who can all extremely athletic, can catch the ball. That's just going to be a fantasy football team's dream right there. But pick 5, I'll be picking for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm going to do something that I think you guys aren't going to like.
Don't take a wide receiver.
I'm taking Jamar Chase. And let me explain why. You want to make your rookie quarterback happy. And I get it that long-term, you're going to want the offensive line, but this is a loaded offensive line class.
You also want your rookie quarterback on the field.
You can grab a great offensive line prospect in the second round. I'm talking someone like, Tevin Jenkins. I'm talking, let me just look at the board that I have right now. You can talk about guys like Liam Eichenberg. Samuel Cosme is a great prospect out of Texas. There's a lot of great offensive linemen in this class that you can grab to protect Joe Burrow in the second round. But besides Tyler Boyd, they literally have no one else at receiver. And I think the receiver drop off after Jamar Chase is really steep. I think Penei Sewell isn't all that. I feel like that you can grab someone who can basically do what Penei Sewell would have done for you in year 1 in the second round, which is why I took Jamar Chase out of LSU.
Go ahead.
Because he's clearly the best receiver in this class. I mean, even though he sat out last year, he ran a 4.340, something like that. It wasn't 4.3 flat, but I think it was like 4.38, 4.34, something along the lines of that. It was blistering. He runs great routes. He's extremely physical. He's one of the best receiver prospects we have seen in a while.
Yeah, a few things from my perspective. So, I mean, you mentioned the receiver room there. There's the T. Higgins is there, but you're right. I don't think they have that like true X guy who's go up and get it. I mean, he had a historical season with Joe Burrow, obviously. And second thing to know on Penei Sewell, I think we talked about this a little bit before. I'd mentioned that short arms. As a left tackle, scouts look for long arms, like 34 inches, 35 inches and above. And that's the problem with Sewell, is that the arms are a little short. And I'm not so sure he would play left tackle in the NFL, and even with the Bengals if they would pick him, because they have Jonah Williams, first-round pick left tackle from Alabama from a couple years ago, and he played pretty well. So I think like offensive line is a need, but it's not as big a need as people might think it is, because they signed Riley Reif to play right tackle. Obviously, Jonah Williams, Quentin Spain Billy Price is still there, another first round pick. And I'm with you, Nate. I think they can get plenty of talent in that second round. I really like this pick, actually. And I would do the same thing if I was Cincinnati Bengals.
Moving
Okay.
on to the 6th pick in the draft. Sunay Sanghani will be representing the Miami Dolphins. First of 2 picks in the first round.
So if I'm Miami, this is the worst case scenario. And this is why there's no chime, because I think it's tense right now in the draft room. The phone lines are open, guys. If a deal is there to be made, let me know. I'll give you a 20 to 30. So Justin Fields is still on the board, so I'm ready to make a deal.
I don't think many teams are going to want to trade up to 6 to take a quarterback when they know they can get him later on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. And actually, like, this is why I think, honestly, deep down, if I were the general manager of the Miami Dolphins, I would take Justin Fields. I'm not going to do that because they're obviously not going to do that. But I think if there are no takers and you don't like the deal you can get, you're kind of stuck, and you just take Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. I think at this point, it makes sense. He played with Tua. It's not a best pick at 6, especially, but it is something. So this is the worst case scenario for Miami, I would add.
I wouldn't say it's a worst case scenario if you're taking Jalen Waddle, one of the best receivers that we've seen in a long time as well. I mean, and this was Tua's number 1 guy when he was at Alabama. It wasn't Ruggs. It wasn't Judy. It was Jalen Waddle. And the only reason why people like Smith more than Waddle is because Waddle got injured this last year, but Waddle's never had any injury concerns prior to that point. I think it's a right pick for Miami. And I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't, even if there are some suitors, they're probably not going to be the best offers for you. And you might as well take your former quarterback's main weapon. With that being said, 7th pick in the draft, Kiran Costa representing. Oh, he has a trade?
I would also like to open the phone lines to especially Denver and New England.
Is it Kiran?
It is.
Hold up. I got to see what team. Hold on 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Because I keep forgetting which team I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
Trade with whoever you want to take over, you can trade here. New England, okay. Denver, anyone?
I'm thinking New England, but I have a.
I think I represent you, New England, right? Or is that Kieran? I think
I think that is. It is one of you guys.
I think it's you, because I picked Minnesota 8, 11, 14. So I think it's you, Sunay.
I'm kind of tempted to do this.
Trade.
I have a strict price. I'll go pick 15, a 3rd rounder this year, and a 1st next year.
2nd round this year, 1st round next year.
So 15, 2nd this year, and then 1st next year?
Yes, sir.
I can't do that. That's too much. I can't do that.
And honestly, I don't see any other teams moving up besides New England, because I think most of the teams in this sort of region are in a position to trade back rather than trade up. I think maybe you can make an argument for Minnesota in case they don't like Kirk Cousins. I think you can make an argument. I think, but besides that, it's really only New England that are serious contenders. And from what we've heard out of, numerous sources, that they are going to be pushing for Jimmy Garoppolo. So it'd be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think Kieran's going to have to be stuck with pick 7 for the Detroit Lions.
So is Jared? Do they believe enough in Jared Goff to not take Justin Fields?
I think the dream right there is, I think the dream scenario if you're Detroit is if Trey Lance slides to 7, because you can have him develop under Jared Goff for a year or 2 and then have him take over year 2 or 3.
So I think this is between Devontae Smith and Justin Fields.
I disagree there because
I disagree. You want to find a corner who can line up alongside Jeff.
Okay, wait. First of all, let me clear up the board here. But also, one thing I'll say here is, it's very, like, Jared Goff's contract is pretty bad, right? I mean, it is. And the rookie contract for a top 10 pick is like 8, 9, 10 million. So that means you're paying like 45 million in your quarterback room, and they have a bunch of holes. Oh, that's right. So I'm not so sure I would go with. I think there's a pick there that could work the best, but I'll let you make the pick.
I think I know who you're thinking of as well, Sunay. There's a couple
Yeah.
in the back of my head.
Maybe corner. Yikes. I'll take Patrick Surtain, cornerback Alabama.
Now you got me on. Wow.
I know that's a shocker right there for me.
That is a shot. It's definitely possible. They have it's Detroit. They have a need everywhere. So if there is someone they like, but I would have gone Penei Sewell here.
I don't think Penei Sewell is the best offensive alignment available right now. And I think you're going to have to go with, if you're Carolina, pick 8, which is I'm picking for. I'm going to be taking Rashawn Slater. I'm taking Rashawn Slater.
Are you not taking calls?
What?
Are you taking calls?
Yeah, call the line. Ring the line.
Okay, so it turns out I'm also a delegate for Philadelphia because 12-15. So I'm also a delegate for Philadelphia. It was not planned whatsoever, but I am. I want to jump the Dallas Cowboys really badly here and get that next corner. I'm willing to part ways from, and that's the worst trade lever. I just gave you all the leverage in the trade. I should have said that. But okay, so I'm 12. You move back 4 spots. You can still most likely get Slater or Sewell. They're both dropping.
I don't think. Yeah, I guess I could get both Slater or Sewell because I think Denver could potentially take a lineman. I think New York probably maybe could take a lineman. Maybe Dallas as well if you jump and take JC.
Yeah. If I'm picking for Dallas and Horn's gone,
you're taking a lineman.
I'm taking Slater or Sewell.
Yeah.
Like I have to.
So what's the offer? What's the offer?
12 and 3rd this year. And okay, 12, 3rd, Zach Ertz, and 3rd next year. 2/3 Zach Ertz and 12.
Throwing in a player.
Yeah, all pro tight end, which is a huge need because Zach Ertz is better than Dan Arnold.
And I think, but let me look up Zach Ertz's contract.
You would have to pay $8 million to Zach Ertz.
$8 million. It's on his final year of his contract.
That's right.
Yeah, sure. Are you Carolina? Carolina.
I'm Carolina. If we can make that 3rd next year into I don't want to push it.
Push it.
How about I give you add a 4th to that?
Okay, 4th this year or 4th next year?
5th next year.
I'll take a 4th next year.
4th. Okay. Now you're putting me in a tough spot. That was not how to do negotiation 101, by the way. I have to go for it. I have to go for it. 2/3 and a 4th. So 3rd this year, 3rd next year.
Zach Ertz.
And Zach Ertz plus your pick at 12. So
honestly, what if I just do a 1st this year, second round pick next year, and Zach Ertz, and a 5th next year,
and a 5th? I'll do that.
Okay, I think I feel like that's a lot better.
I'll do that.
Okay. So, official trade. Is that a?
Yeah, I agree to that.
Okay.
JC.
So now this becomes Philadelphia. I take my corner, JC Horn. I think. Ooh. I mean, in terms of cornerbacks, like this is where it's going to be so tricky because any and every team can use a cornerback always. So I mean, the 2 corners are going to be very, very interesting, I think. And listen, I had to pay the premium to Nate, Zach Ertz, tight end, who I do not want to part with, good veteran leader, and a 2nd round pick next year, which is very heavy. So.
Yeah. With that being said, pick 9. I believe it is Sunay again making the pick for the Denver Broncos.
Okay. That's interesting. Any calls?
I think if someone's going to call, it's bound to be New England, which is your team.
Which is my team, huh? But see, no one's taking a. I just have to
I
jump.
don't think New England calls. Who's going to take a quarterback out of the two left here?
I think no, but realistically, tomorrow in the draft, I feel like
Jimmy Garoppolo could be traded to New England. Yes, I think that is the case.
that, or they're just gonna like not think about it twice and just do it
Yeah.
and not take the risk whatsoever,
Hmm.
which is usually what happens in the NFL. I say they do it because I think from what I've heard, Minnesota is really interested, and obviously, like I think it's the most realistic thing. I feel like
Mhm.
for Justin Fields to be taken in the top 10 and New England trades out. I think it's so unrealistic.
You don't think Belichick could be swayed by Tom Brady 2.0 and McCorkle?
See, that's such a big if too, because McCorkle may go third. He may not even be there.
Exactly.
Right. So I think he goes Justin Fields. It's yeah, and I'll make the trade. It's a real. I think it's real simple. I think it's first and second next year, and 15 this year from Denver to New England, and you just make the trade. I don't think you don't think twice about it. You just do it.
All right. Moving on to pick 10. The Dallas Cowboys will be picked by, I think it's me, right? Or am I tripping? No, it'd be picked by Kiran.
Kiran, yeah.
I mean, this is not a conversation. This is Rashawn Slater. He's, I think, like probably the fifth best player on this board. I think he's the best offensive lineman. I'm very happy to get Rashawn Slater at 10.
All right. Moving on to pick 11, which is the Giants, which is me. And if I'm the Giants, Rashawn Slater off the board, I'm looking at I'm looking at Devontae Smith potentially because they do need a receiver. I'm looking at linebacker with Micah Parsons, however you say it. And honestly,
on the board.
I'm gonna take. I think Sewell is also extremely tempting, and
do it.
I'm gonna take.
Ooh.
I feel like I think you can wait on receiver. I don't know if you can wait on linebacker though, and I think you can wait on offensive line as well. Because Sewell's great and all, but as you said, short arms, major concern, and I wouldn't be surprised if he slides this far. So I'm gonna take Parsons here and grab the Penn State product. Moving over to 12, which I'm also picking for. If I'm Carolina, this is a dream scenario. You lose out on corner, but you're gonna take Sewell.
Is the line open?
The line is probably not open. Honestly, I think you always got to be interested in calls, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and take someone like Penei Sewell, it's not even a bad bullet to bite, it's like a Nerf pellet, so I'm taking Penei Sewell. Moving on to pick 13, the Los Angeles Chargers, and this is going to be picked by, it's going to be picked by Kiran.
I think there's a glaring need. It's offensive line. And that's Elijah Vera Tucker from SC.
Good pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah. So Nate obviously will be approving of that one. And now I'm pretty upset if I'm Minnesota. I'm not going to be happy that Vera Tucker just got taken out of my hands, as he is clearly the best interior offensive lineman in the class. But, good compensation. I'll grab an offensive tackle probably because I don't really like any of the edges available right now. I'm not trying to reach for someone like Jalen Phillips, even though he is freakishly athletic. And I think it's between Darisaw or Tevin Jenkins.
Right.
And right now, I don't think you want to reach for someone like Tevin Jenkins, although I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I'm going to take Darisaw, Virginia Tech product, great offensive line prospect. Moving on to pick 15 with the Denver Broncos. They traded down from 9. Mac Jones is available. Will they go with him? Sunay?
Wow, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. That's you.
That's actually like the best case scenario, I feel like, for the Denver Broncos. You get a first and a second next year, and then I think you got to take Mac Jones. This is turning out to be a very interesting yet weird draft.
Yeah, I think it got a little interesting once Fields was taken by New England. I think what really messes it up is Trey Lance at 3, but that's just my opinion. Moving on to pick 16, Arizona. Actually, I mean, I probably should have waited a second for Denver to field some calls from teams like Washington, like Chicago. So would you have accepted those calls and gained more draft capital?
No, I don't think so at all. Mac Jones. I mean, I think after a certain point, you have to like stop with the draft capital and just pick the player you like. Because I mean, moving from 9 to 20 or 9 to 19 is a pretty steep fall. But yeah, I don't think I would have.
We've seen it before.
Yeah, we have. But it would have taken at least a first or a second round pick to make it happen, and a second round pick.
All right, pick 16, the Arizona Cardinals. Kieran's final pick in the draft. Who are they going to go with here?
I think they go Caleb Farley. I think they need cornerback help. And I think at this point, he's a little better than Greg Newsome. I think he's the clear choice if they're going corner.
All right, I'm going pick 17 with the Raiders, and I think the Raiders are kind of in a little bit of a dream scenario here because guess what? Yes, you have more pressing needs. I understand that. But if you have the Heisman winner on the clock, you are going to take him. I think that's something that's a very John Gruden thing to do. The Raiders love their flashy playmakers at receiver, and Aguilar is getting up there in age. You can bring him back with Penei. Yeah, so I'm taking Devontae Smith, Alabama receiver, the Heisman winner, one of the best seasons we've ever seen at a skilled position, to the Las Vegas Raiders. And finally, pick 18, the Miami Dolphins. Sunay, who are we going with?
I'm going to go with your guy, Nate, the guy you like, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And I think they lost Kyle Van Noy. They paid a bunch of money to. A lot of shuffling in that defense. This is just it feels like a pick that the Dolphins would make. It's like their type of guys. But that's their first round, guys. I think this was a really interesting first round. Nate, I'll let you have the first stab at it.
I didn't expect it to play out this way. I mean, I knew when we decided you'd be going 3, Sunay, I knew it was going to be Trey Lance. And I personally would have gone Mac Jones just off of realism. And I think that just kind of messed everything up for me personally. I don't see a world where I don't think I see someone like Sewell sliding to 12. I don't see someone like, I know this is a pick that I made myself, but I don't see Micah Parsons going at 11. I wouldn't be surprised if he slides down the boards, because I don't see him as the best linebacker in the class. Devontae Smith at 17 is a reality that we might have to come to terms with. And because there's not many teams in the top 15 who would want to receive
Slater at 10 seems like he slid as well.
No, I think that's a realistic range for Slater, like that between 8 to 12. I think that's a realistic range. I think Sewell, it's anywhere from 5 to 15.
Kieran, do you regret not picking up the phone call as the representatives for the Dallas Cowboys and calling, say, Los Angeles Chargers, who would have had offensive line's a big need for them, or Minnesota or Arizona? I mean, when you have the 2 top offensive line available, would you have been willing to pick up the phone?
Maybe to the Chargers, but no lower than that. Because with Horn and Surtain off the board, maybe I would have traded down after I'd say Surtain, Horn, top 2, bet the Cowboys want to get there. Cornerback's the main need. But I'm very happy with Rashawn Slater at 10.
And as a Niners fan, I'm elated with Trey Lance because anything but Mac Jones. But honestly, I would take Kyle Pitts at 3, and then you draft someone like Davis Mills in the 2nd round. I think that would be a lot better than taking Mac Jones top 3 overall when you could have grabbed him at 12 without giving up.
Find out tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow. Good segue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I still think, just a couple final comments. I think the top 6 is very real.
I think Kieran goofed it with 7. Kieran goofed it with 7. He had no idea what to do with Waddle chase off the board.
I wanted to trade. No one wanted to trade.
No one wanted to trade up to 7, and for good reason as well, because if it plays out like this, which as today said, it could easily happen like this, the QB market's not going to be that large because Carolina and Denver both got their new quarterbacks. Whether Bridgewater is going to be the starter or not is to be determined. And I think it's safe to say that Darnold is going to be the guy in Carolina. So once that market falls off, then you're looking at teams like Minnesota. You're looking at teams like the Patriots. And then I don't think any team's going to want to trade down to 19 or 20.
Carolina got Zach Ertz, right?
Yeah.
Zach Ertz and
that's huge.
I want to trade by a mile.
Who's their starting tight end? Ian Thomas.
Yeah. So I think they actually took the biggest win because they got the guy who they were probably going to take at 8, got an extra 2nd round pick, which they traded away for Sam Darnold in the Sam Darnold trade. And I think Philadelphia too, like once Detroit picked 7 Patrick Surtain.
You're panicking. You're in a panic mode.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not.
He could go to Denver. He could go to Denver. He could go to Carolina. He could go to Dallas, and he could go to New York.
Exactly.
All 4 of those teams need corners.
And especially Dallas. Like, Dallas is going to take a corner no matter what, right? So I think that's a very realistic scenario for Philadelphia, where they're kind of going to be in a panic mode. And I'll even note, like, the New England Denver trade that I made, it wasn't really necessary.
No, it was not at all.
Because it felt like the most real thing.
And honestly, I don't think if you're Denver, you're taking Mac Jones in that situation. I think you'd rather grab someone like, I don't know. Let's see who's still on the board. I think you'd grab someone like Jalen Phillips to be your edge replacement for Von Miller. I just don't see a world where Mac Jones is selected by the Denver Broncos where you have 3 starting quality quarterbacks on the same roster.
Yeah, true. It's going to be Drew Lock is
very iffy, but like we saw what he could do when fully healthy. I think he could get it done. I don't think he's in Denver. I don't think he's a guy in Denver, but he has a starting role somewhere in the league.
I'm not the biggest fan of Drew Lock, so I don't necessarily agree with you there. But yeah,
could Drew Lock then be traded on draft night? Like if they draft Mac Jones,
but it would be
Bridgewater, Lock, and Jones.
It would be a massive L for the Carolina for the Broncos because who's going to pay a 2nd round pick because they took a 2nd round. It was a 2nd round pick 2 years ago. Who's going to pay a 2nd round pick for Drew Lock? No one. I'm saying if Bridgewater is a 6th, considering Drew Lock's age and injury history, I'm saying he's worth maybe a 5th or a 4th. So. It would be a massive loss on Denver's part.
Yeah, but I mean, Kieran, it is a rumor out there that they could especially if they take a guy like Justin Fields. I mean,
if they take a guy like Trey Lance.
Yeah, him too. I mean, it could very well be it's draft night. And there's no sure thing on draft night. That's what I'll answer. But I have been told that John Elway loves Drew Lock. That's like because John Elway, after Peyton Manning, picked Trevor Siemian, didn't work out. Picked Paxton Lynch, didn't work out. This is his 3rd guy, and this is a quarterback-driven league, so you have to get the quarterback right as a GM. And this is his 3rd chance. Like, he has to get Drew Lock right, otherwise he's going to lose all credibility, even though he won a Super Bowl. Like, he wants to hang on to Drew Lock and make that thing work. So, yeah. Any other thoughts? Any other final remarks?
I don't think Owusu Koromo is my guy anymore. I think if the 2nd linebacker is going to be taken is going to be Jamin Davis. He's been climbing up the boards crazy because last time we did this, he was probably like last pick in round 1, early pick in round 2. Now I'm seeing him go in the top 20.
Okay,
And
so that
he could easily be the first linebacker taken. He could easily be taken outside just outside the top 10. He is that good.
all right. So then I guess the best way I can end this is with the question. Give me a hot take for tomorrow, first round. And I guess I'll start because I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it if you guys have any. Give me a hot take. And for me, I'm going to say there are going to be some guys like a Penei Sewell, like a Micah Parsons, like a Caleb Farley that will slide into the bottom of the first round or the top of the second. And there will be some guys picked in the bottom 20s that we probably don't even consider to be first round picks. We saw it last year, and especially this year with pro day, with no combine, only pro days. There's going to be such a fluctuation. I think it's kind of going to be a crazy bottom half of the first round, and we're going to see some guys slide.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go crazy top. I'm going to go 5 quarterbacks go in the top 10.
Nice.
We have 4 here. I think Jones finds himself somewhere in that top 10.
I'm gonna be sticking.
We go 5 of the first 10 are all QBs.
I'm gonna be sticking QB land, and I'm gonna say that a team's gonna trade back into the first round to grab either Davis Mills or Kellen Mond.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
So I don't know who that team's gonna be, but someone's gonna trade back in to take Davis Mills because he is legit. He's gonna be a good NFL quarterback. You just got to give him a chance.
You know, he's a Stanford guy when Nate likes him.
I know, but dude, every single analyst loves the guy, but he's not getting enough love. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in around like in that 31, 32 range.
He is good. He is good. But for tomorrow, all you're gonna hear is
PTSD, baby. Some good PTSD at that.
And I guess that will end our show. Thanks for watching the final mock draft for the Sports Sit Down. Let us know what you think below, and then we'll have some more draft coverage for you as well as the draft ends, and then we'll see what we can do. Thanks for watching. For Kiran Costa, Nate Martin, I'm Sunay Sanghani, signing off. Take care, guys.